Over this last weekend, I went ahead and finally checked out Ubisoft's newest game, Skull and Bones. Now, don't worry, unlike Suicide Squad, I did not buy the $70 video game without knowing anything about it. Instead, Ubisoft did this cool thing that no game does anymore and allowed us to have an 8-hour trial of the game. So I went ahead and got some footage and checked it out. Now, I will say this. Let's start with the positives so far. I like the I like how you start. I like how you start at a very small ship, like it's supposed to be an MMORPG, but with pirate ships. I like that you start out with this little dinghy of a ship that literally looks like it's gonna fall over. You only have hunting spears as a weapon, stuff like that. I like it when games do that. So, shockingly, I like MMOs. Who would have thought, right? But then when you get your first ship, you still feel weak as hell. And then I got another ship, and then I got another ship. So I got the dough, the deho or whatever it's called, and then I got small ships. There are medium ships in this game that I was trying to get access to before the timer ended, but obviously I didn't. But I was able to get to like a normal ship before the time trial ended. Then I started doing some quests, and then after that is when basically stuff started to fall apart. To continue on with all the good stuff, I will say this: I like the gameplay. Not gonna lie, I like the combat. I should specifically say there's a lot more to gameplay. The combat is clearly from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, but somehow worse. Yeah, I still enjoyed it, but that was about it. And unfortunately, that's really all I have to say about it being good. Unlike the Suicide Squad game, I don't have my rose-colored tinted glasses on. But I will say this, for those of you who don't know me, you'll know that I like a lot of Ubisoft games. Some would even consider me a Ubisoft fanboy, even though I personally don't claim that. I just buy a lot of their games. But this is one game that I was interested in, even with all the controversies coming out and stuff like that, literally like Suicide Squad. I really, really wanted to check it out, and I'm glad they did this trial, because I did not want to fork over $70. First off, this game is not worth $70. What the CEO of Ubisoft was saying, that this was the first AAA game, is such a lie, and was just to make the governor of Singapore happy, because that's the only reason this game came out, is because the governor of Singapore demanded that it did. He had like a share or something happened. That's another reason why this game is in like the Indian Ocean instead of the Caribbean, where it was originally going to go. But let's start talking about the bad. The bad is the character customization is garbage. It is bare bones, not to full pun intended. The ship designs are okay. They're influenced in the Indian Ocean, which is cool. We haven't seen stuff like that before. Then we start to get to normal ships that people like to see in the Caribbean, stuff like that. The outfits in this game, I think, look really well. I like them, to be honest. But what's the point of customizing your character? Well, you're allowed to go to docks and certain areas of the world. You're allowed to dock and walk around it. But there's nothing you can do except access stores, grab contracts, complete quests, accept quests, transfer stuff to your warehouse and stuff like that. There is no ground combat. Everyone knows this by now. There's no ground combat and stuff like that, and it's really a shame. They really should have thought of this before. I started looking into a couple reviews of this game, and I will say there is something I agree with a lot of people were saying. If this game did not come out, or if Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag did not come out, this game would have gotten a lot more praise. Because, like I said, the ship combat is okay. But 9 to 11 years ago, we had something better. We had Assassin's Creed Black Flag that had ship combat and ground combat. And it was perfect. Now, obviously, that was a single-player game, but you could have made it a multiplayer. You could make a multiplayer game out of that instead of just taking the ships only. Another thing I will also say is this is a pirate game, and the experience that I had, nobody attacks each other. It's really weird. And overall, it was just a better game in general. That's one of the biggest reasons that this game is getting so much flack, is that the same company, Ubisoft, did this before and did it better. So why did we go backwards? What the hell were they doing for 9 to 11 years. I know that there was issues. I know that there was like people were working on this game, but they didn't know what this game was gonna be. There was a bunch of different changes. If you look at all the trailers show like different games. The first trailer showed like you were in the Caribbean. A trailer from like 2 years ago showed a lot more mythical Indian Ocean, and then the latest trailer it just seems like, yep, pirate combat, MMORPG. That's what you wanted, right? Bare bones, hot, get it? And it's just a damn shame because this could have been cool. And like I said, there is stuff that I like about this game, but most of it is bad. To be personally honest, I'm not buying this game for $70. Nobody buy this game for $70, especially after that quadruple A bullshit. I would buy it, and this is me personally. This is not a recommendation for anyone. I will probably buy it when it's $30. Just so I don't feel like I waste too much money. Because like I said, I did enjoy the little bit of time I had, but I will also say this, the 8 hours that I got to play, it felt like I saw everything, unfortunately. This game, because it's going in like a mythical setting, I think what would be really, really cool, and maybe it's in the game and I'm just not there yet, would be fighting sea monsters. Like, if you're not going to let us have ground combat, can we at least do something about the sea? Right now, there is a giant open ocean, and there's no reason to sail out there, really. You just want to stay in this island area, at least from my current experience. But I would love something like that where you fight like a Kraken or Moby Dick or Cthulhu himself. I don't care anymore. I just think those would be cool, and then you can have your squad of pirates and have them help you and stuff like that. If we're going to have this mythical and you're not going to give us ground combat, at least let us do something cool like that. Like I said, it could be in the game, and I have no idea, but I don't think so from what I saw. Another thing is, this game, it really seems like a bare bones MMO. I'm not 100% familiar with how MMOs are built or what's considered a fleshed out one versus a normal one, if that makes any sense. But everyone online has been saying that this is very, like, basic for an MMO, like ship customization, transferring cargo, transferring weapons, and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of the ship customization, I will give them props for it. I like that. Not only do you get to customize the looks and the types of ships you drive, you can actually customize the cannon placements on your ship. For example, the latest ship I had mortar cannons on the front and long-range guns on the right, and then normal cannons on the left. And then I had shotgun cannons in the back. I did like that. That was cool. You could also control what you bring on the ship versus what you store in your warehouse, which kind of makes it difficult, but that's a skill issue on my part with how it just seems very just let me carry all my cannonballs and stuff like that. You have to worry about ammo in this game, and depending on which cannons you bring, you have to worry about specific ammo. There's normal cannonballs and then bombard balls. That's what the mortar was using. The one thing that I think is the stupidest thing they've done for this game is that they have a stamina bar for your ship. Your ship that is powered or sped by wind. Like, I'm going 14 knots. And apparently, so what I did was I went in the first person view to see, why is there a stamina bar? There has to be a reason, right? Turns out it's because your guys are sitting there holding on to the rope instead of tying it down on the ship so you can catch the wind. That's your excuse for a stamina bar on a ship? What the fuck? Oh my god, one mistake after another. But yeah, your ship has a stamina bar, and it's the dumbest thing on earth. And when you run out of stamina, you go back to your second highest speed, and you can have your stamina bar refill faster if you feed your crew. But that's not all. There's other stuff in this game that is just dumb. Like we said before, there's no ground combat. So you think the ship combat would be good, right? Like I said, it's decent. It's definitely worse than Black Flag, absolutely. For example, you can control the aiming of your cannons by a reticle instead of what Black Flag had with this wavy thing that they had, that you could actually have your crew members turn the cannons to adjust a little bit, just slightly, not too much. You had to be on the left or right side of the ship to shoot. With Skull and Bones, it's very... First off, the cannons don't move at all, except for when you fire them, they play the reload animation, which is also very bare bones. Sorry, that's the colonial in me coming out. But it's very weird. Like I said, it's definitely worse than Black Flag, but I also think it's fine. Like, I get it. Would I like to see more realism? Absolutely. That's my thing in games lately. But so let's go. When you pull up next to a ship, you have an option of crew boarding, which you're like, oh, okay, let's see what this is about. And it's, I swear to you, a 2-second cutscene of your crew, like, hauling the ship over and then taking a chest. And that is it. That is crew boarding. You do it so fast. You can do it mid-fight easily. I can only imagine how that is in PvP. But, like, I'm trying really hard to not keep saying it over and over again, but these people are nuts. I know there's no ground combat. So why even bother with this 2-second animation? It's like they knew that we were going to complain, but they did it anyway. Another example, you need to gather resources, and that includes chopping down trees and mining ores. What is it? The worst fucking quick time event minigame I have ever seen in my life, and you don't get out of your ship. It's like your ship comes to life, and maybe the Russian Badger, if he makes a video on this, can mocap a ship chopping down a tree, because that is basically what supposedly happens, because you don't get off your ship. The last thing you can do, and this is how you make the majority of your money, or if you want to make money quickly, is plundering cities. You will activate a plunder option, your crew will get off to go have fun, while you sit on the ship and either destroy towers, collect the loot, or attack ships that are coming to defend the city. That is it. Then when it comes to the missions are also bare bones, no pun intended, of you go here, you gather stuff, or you sink these ships to get more info, then you go back to this main area, the main hub area so far that I'm aware of, then you talk to a guy and you get paid, that's it. Or you go and craft something, you get paid, that's it. That's all these missions are. It's either go here, kill ships, go back. Or go here, get info, or grab something specific like ale, come back, get paid. That is it. And these quests don't even pay a lot. The plundering pays more and takes less time and is more active. But it's still the same thing. It's either towers or ships. I understand this is supposed to be a live service game. I do. I play live service games. Helldivers 2 is amazing. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is below average. But I think Skull and Bones, if I was doing a sequel to Battle of Mid, Skull and Bones would have taken last place, absolutely. Because this game, what were they doing for 9 to 11 years? This game should have been canceled. And I think if the governor of Singapore did not demand this game to be made, it would have been canceled. Because this is actually atrocious. And Ubisoft has already come out and saying that apparently they wanted this game to generate $1 million. And it hasn't. It hasn't at all. And not even the 8-hour time trial of the game had a lot of people playing it. So there's already a low player base for this game. There's a battle pass, there's premium currency, and this game is $70 fucking dollars, dude. It is absolutely insane. Ubisoft, as someone who buys a lot of your games because I enjoy most of the games you guys make, I cannot justify spending $70 for this. Maybe $30. Maybe. And that's pushing it. And that's me not buying anything else for the game. But yeah, we have had a slew of really shitty games, obviously, in 2024. With one saving grace so far, which is Helldivers 2. So, like the rest of the world, I enjoyed my trial. But I am going to go back and defend Malevolent Creek before we lose it to the automatons again. See you next week.